probably one thing I regret right now, but I still go to all the functions. I actually have a fraternity brother who I helped get into the organization, and he's now a lawyer that works tightly with them. So I know all my stuff now through him. So I definitely recommend getting involved in a nonprofit as a volunteer. Because then, guess what? They gave me a job when I graduated as a fundraiser and a grant writer, and I got to learn how to write grants. So they actually gave me my first official job.
What specific event inspired you to get involved?
I would say probably, I don't know if I should say this. In the year 2000, even though I graduated from undergrad in 98, in the year 2000, we organized the census. Now, we know that the people were not going to go into the barrios, we're not going to go into the hood. So I got like 40 of my fraternity brothers to do a community service where we took actual census forms, which is illegal, and we went into the hood, went into the gang areas, and had them fill out, because if they weren't counted, the money's not going to get allocated for that community. So we went into the pool halls, we went into the bars, we went into the supermarkets, the market, and for me, being the one to organize that and to be able to split everybody up in one big town was just amazing. And then to come to my house with my mom and dad there and have pizza afterwards, it was my first successful, I would say, eye-opening event that made me say, this is what I love to do. Organize.
What have you specifically done to make an impact on your community?
I can answer that like in different periods. Like with the workplace project, I would say they wanted me to run for government at one point. Like I became so involved that because I spoke English and because I had a degree, they wanted me to go and become one of the council members in Hempstead, because that's where I was born and raised. And I kind of like shied away from that and said to myself, I got to continue, because I was going to school for teaching. And then I went into special ed, and then eventually went to higher ed, which I worked in a college for 5 years. So, what was the question again?
What have you specifically done to make an impact in the community?
I say for my community, I would probably say I'm a possibility agent for different people. So for my kids that went to Columbia University who didn't have the grades to get in, but because of me counseling them and advising them and getting them tutors and staying on top of them, I got to see them graduate from an Ivy League institution. I got to see people that I worked with at the Workplace Project actually become members of the Workplace Project, and actually they're now board of directors. So they've continued the movement. I have nieces and nephews that I feel like they're inspired by me. They look up to me. I'm probably the only one they listen to. So when I get mad and I smack them in the head, they don't say anything, nor have they ever disrespected me. To this day, my brothers still call me to tell me what to do to talk to his child. And then for teaching, I mean, you just pay it forward. So I hope that every kid that I work with and touch, you know, that they pay it forward, that they come back and they do something. Because I don't see myself teaching, you know, another 5 years. I definitely want to write a book. I want to travel. I want to talk about this experience I'm having right now. And I want to teach other people how to teach these kids. And that it's okay to get frustrated and pissed off and actually go off on some of these kids, because sometimes they need it. Because they don't get it at home, because sometimes they just get ignored. So when I get pissed off and a kid is actually affected because I'm mad at them, I'm doing my job.
Who was your role model?
Definitely leaders of the past. Simon Bolivar, you know, I have a tattoo of him. I'm really inspired by how he took over not only military but strategic politics. Like his first thing was education. He was all about education, and he believed in eliminating the caste system. And that takes a lot of guts to do that. And then, of course, my sister, who was a missionary, she gave her whole life to children and working with poor children all over, basically all over. She went from Latin America to Europe. And she passed away about 4 years, it's going to be 5 years now, of cancer. And she's left like a long legacy with us. she never. How can I say it? For someone to be so human and touch so many kids and work with so many kids and never ever gave up, even when she was sick. And when she was dying, she told me, if I survive this, I'm going back to Portugal to help those kids in the orphanage. And she worked at an orphanage, she worked at a poor village, she worked at all over, and even ran a daycare here in Hempstead. So, and she was very involved in the church. She basically made that daycare what it is today. So she inspires me. And then also my wife's grandmother, Mama Mary, who grew up in Bushwick, she inspired me tremendously. She worked in politics all her life. She drew that painting of me of Native American. She passed away about, 2-3 years ago. And she's inspired me because regardless of who she with, she always cared about her kids. And she took care of kids all the way till they were like 60-something years old, because that's how much of an inspiration she was. So, and I want to be that for my kids.
How has your involvement changed your life?
I'm gonna hold on. I believe any injustice is an injustice everywhere. So from disrespect to police brutality, it has to be somehow either spoken about or corrected. And that's how I feel. Like, there's solutions to everything. And like I said today in class, it's very, very hard to be nonviolent. But then again, when you have a family, you want to defend them at all times, even physically if you have to. So I know, because of my involvement with so many different people, there's always ways of things without involving violence. And that's going to be probably the hardest thing for me, because we live in a world that's very, very violent. But then I think about who can do it. If Martin Luther King can do it, if Gandhi can do it, if Cesar Chavez can do it, if Rigoberto Menchú can do it, then I can do it.
Is there any further advice you would give to younger people?
I would definitely suggest that they understand how things work in regards to government, politics, and social issues. The reason why we have so many nonprofit organizations that work for different causes in the community is because the government is not doing enough. So we rely on these organizations to get things done. So you have to give them the respect that they deserve. And when you respect them, then you will see that what the work that they do is good. And that kids need to realize that having a job is different from a career. You want to get paid, you can work anywhere and get paid. But if you want to make an impact in life, you have to find something that you're good at or you're good with. And those people that you're good with are going to open up doors for you. So remember, no matter what you do, if it's volunteering, you're always investing in your experience, because you might meet someone that's going to open the door for you. And then later on, you're going to be that person opening the door for someone else. So it's like pay it forward. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Mr. Sierra. I wouldn't be in Colombia if it wasn't for the tutor who used to basically hit me with a ruler whenever I didn't do my homework. He gave me my job at St. John's. That same person knew someone else gave me that job at Columbia. And then when I came here, it was because of Dean Sierra. So I'm not here because I'm great. I'm here because I'm great with people. That was hot. Print. You like that?